Hi friends, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing an urgent message from spirits. I try to channel one of these at least once a month for all of you just to see what my guides have to say, what some of your guides have to say, and really anyone that wants to come through, I can kind of channel that message. So a few things to note. First of all, if you don't want to hear the explanation and do not want to pick a candle, I will go ahead and let you know this is pile 1, this is 2, and this is 3. You can head down to the timestamps down below. I'm going to go ahead and put the candles on, so if you want to select with a candle, you can do that as well, and then I will give a brief explanation for those of you that are not familiar with pick-a-cards. All right, so pile number 1, you have a blue candle. Pile number 2, you have an orange candle, and pile number 3, you have a black candle. So that is what we have for the different candles. Like I said before, if you don't want to hear an explanation, go ahead and head down to the timestamps, and I will give you time to meditate after the explanation as well, and I will also card that down below for you. So if you've never done a pick a card before, basically what you're going to want to do is either meditate on these 3 different piles, or you can also look at the timestamps and see if your lucky number is present down there in any of them. That's a lot of times how I will choose if I'm having a hard time. You can also choose based off of the candle colors. You can also, if you know how to read auric fields, everything does have an aura about it. So you can also look at the aura if that's something that you are good at. You can see the aura of the different piles and choose that way. You can also just focus on the numbers. So 111, 222, 333, and say them over and over and kind of see. Some people also like to put their hand, this was a new one and I loved it. I was like, that's so brilliant. Put your finger basically over, if you're on like a mobile device, put your finger over the timestamps and then just drop your finger down with your eyes closed and see which pile your finger clicked on. I thought that was such an awesome way to do it. So it gives it a little bit more of like a random effect. So I really like that because your soul already knows you can use your body as a pendulum. That's like a real thing. So those are different ways that you can choose. Now, a few things to note is number 1, of course, these are generalized readings. So please keep that in mind that for some people, every single pile is going to resonate. Everything is going to resonate in its entirety. Some people will watch like the entire thing and every pile resonates. For some people, it's going to be just the candle blessing or just a certain number of cards. And for some people, it'll be just one distinct pile. So just know that there's a lot of messages that get channeled. I just do my best to pull them out and say what needs to be said. So just keep that in mind and know that you're never going to choose wrong. There is something in here for you. I really do believe that if you stumbled across my channel, across this pick a card, then there is something that you needed to hear in one of these. So, or all of them potentially. There's something that you needed to hear. I don't believe that spirit is ever going to lead you astray in that way. So there is always something for everyone here. You're never going to choose wrong. And you can also choose multiple. Like I said, some people will listen to all, some people just 1 or 2 piles. It's totally up to you what you want to do. Just have confidence and believe in yourself and know that you will not choose wrong. And I think that's everything I want to say here. So I'm going to go ahead and be quiet and allow you some time to just meditate on these different cards here, and then we'll get into it. All right, my beautiful pile number 1s, if you chose this pile, basically, this is going to be your reading, your urgent message from spirits. And if you chose this pile, you chose the new moon because this card right here on top is reset. And this is a photo of the dark moon or the new moon. So I did this on purpose. I put the cards out face up because I wanted people to kind of use their intuition to really decide what they needed based on those words and on the imagery of the moon phases. So something I've never done before, but I felt like that would really help your intuition. And so we'll talk about that in a moment, but let's go ahead and actually first focus on the candle blessing. So if you chose this pile, you would have chose the blue candle, and blue candles represent the element of water. So this could be water signs as well. This is going to be Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. It doesn't have to mean that that's like your sign or your placements, but if that's something you're wanting to attract, that may be. It also can, I say in very broad terms, because I do believe that purple is the more effective color for intuition, but blue to me can be tied into intuition because what we know of tarot cards, a lot of the water cup cards speak to, or cup cards speak to water, and they speak to the intuition. So I do believe, and I am getting kind of a vibe off of that, that we could also be thinking about our intuition and strengthening it a little bit. And blue also represents emotional balance. So if these are any of the things you feel like you need right now, maybe you want to attract a certain sign into your life, maybe you need a little more emotional balance, a little bit of a stronger intuition, or just anything you want to bring into your life, this is the day of the week. We do it a couple times a week, but this is the day where you get to set those beautiful intentions for yourself. So whatever you want to bring into your life right now, and I'm getting goosebumps as I'm saying it because we are going to manifest some fire stuff together today. So go ahead and just focus your intention for a moment on something you want to bring in. So it could be an actual physical item, a person, a place, a thing, a feeling that you want to have. Place your hands over your hearts, because what we do know is that love is the highest vibrational frequency that we as humans can attune ourselves to. And when you connect your intentions to your heart space or your heart center, you're actually strengthening them and you're enabling them to come in faster. So we're going to put our hands over our hearts and hold on to that intention. And let's just take one big deep belly breath together, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Oh, that felt good. All right, I'm going to go ahead and light this for us, and we're going to see what is going to happen. Ooh, she was a big flame. I will say about this flame, getting back into it, the flame started out pretty large. Like it was large with the actual flame, which that does not always happen. And then it continued to be pretty big. And even now it is growing in height as I'm speaking. So this to me tells me that your intentions or manifestations will come in very quickly. Usually this is like a 2-week period or less. And it's also just a really strong indication that you put a lot of energy into that, because we're manifesting collectively when we do this, which is beautiful. I love that. So I'm going to go ahead and put this up in the corner for us, just so we can still see it throughout the reading if the flame should do anything, because sometimes that happens. But let's go ahead and get into the actual card reading. So first and foremost, as I was saying, we have the New Moon Reset card. And I really like this because maybe this is what you feel like you need in terms of like emotional balance or what have you. Just a good reset on life. And I mean, I feel like this is going to end up being my pile, to be honest. I feel like there's always one that resonates with me, and this is the one I'm feeling called to. So I'm excited to see what we're all doing. Just think about the new moon. If you're not familiar with like moon magic or moon manifesting, the new moon is really a time to set new intentions, plant new seeds, and really take stock of your life and decide a direction that you want it to go in. Or it doesn't even have to be your whole life. It could just be one area. So we're just going to keep that in mind with this reading. And I'm actually going to set this one kind of off to the side here, because it's not really part of the reading per se. It's just like an overall theme. So we do have the Tower. I'm going to push this up to the top here. We do have the Tower, the Nine of Cups, the King of Pentacles, and Death. Okay, this is actually way more beautiful than you think. I feel like whenever we get the Tower right off the bat, people in the comments, y'all just drag me, or you drag yourselves, and you're like, oh man, the Tower, really, did I have to? And a lot of times I notice many of you will say that like you got the Tower the last like 3 readings, and no matter which pile you pick, it seems to follow you around. So what this really says to me, especially next to a Nine of Cups and a King of Pentacles and Death, the Tower to me really is here to tell us that whatever you've been trying to bring into your life, something else needs to crumble down so that you can have it. Something is in your way, whether it is a current career path, a current partner. It probably is something a little bit more major. The Tower to me is not a card that just plays games. It doesn't just show up for like minuscule things. This is a major arcana card. So, and especially when we have the Tower and Death together, those are two big hard-hitting cards that are like, you need to dismantle some shit. Because if you don't dismantle it, you're not going to receive the blessings you've been asking for. And I don't say these things to scare you. That's never my intention. If you walk away from my reading feeling afraid, I just might not be the reader for you. Because a spiritual healer or person shouldn't make you feel that way. So just keep that in mind. My intention is never to scare you with the readings that are here. This is not scary. It's honestly an opportunity for you. It is an opportunity for you to actually have a radical transformation of what you want in your life. And I think for a lot of you specifically, it's going to revolve around finances or possibly like it could be a partner as well, because the King of Pentacles can personify with a person. But to me, this is about like you have asked for some things and you're going to kind of see it coming up, and Spirit wanted you to know this because it's going to feel like things are falling apart. It's going to be like, why is this happening to me, Spirit? Why are you putting me through this? And Spirit wants you to know like, hey, first of all, you asked for this, and in order for me to give this to you, this can't be here because it's stifling your blessings. So that's really the overarching theme here. And in terms of a reset, many of you may have just gone through this Tower. This is something that I'm getting the energy that maybe it has already passed for you. And now you're moving into this pure manifestation energy, because the Nine of Cups is the wish granted card. Know that if this card came out for you in a reading, or it continues to, like you've seen it multiple times, this is like a wish is being granted. Your dreams are coming true. The things that you've asked for are on their way to you already. You've already put in some work for them. So with the Tower showing up, just know that that blessing is literally right around the corner. You've already potentially gone through it, and it's going to be such a dramatic transformation that the past you is going to feel like it has died. It's not literal death. It is a death of a past version of you that you no longer have to sit and personify with. And this is beautiful for the new moon, because to me, it's a complete transformation of a new, either a specific pillar of your life, especially because this Tower is represented by a pillar, or it's going to be a complete transformation of life in general. But like I said, there is definitely a highlight on finances for you because we do have that King of Pentacles there. So we also have the card of Jupiter, which this does say enthusiasm, optimism, generosity, benevolence, beliefs, luck, seeking, travel, positivity, lectures, foreign cultures, teaching, pilgrimage, chance, expansion, leaping, exploration, and potential. Ooh, she is juicy. Okay, so we also have the Numinous mystery, or yeah, I think that's how you say that. The unknown, the unworkable, ESP, psychic abilities, the cosmos, a universal truth, oneness, source, the unamable. Okay. Shadow work, inner knowing, tingling, ghosts, other worlds, space, enigmas, the occult, and intuition. That's so funny. I don't look at these piles before I read them, so this is like a surprise for me too. That's so funny because I mentioned intuition at the beginning of this reading, and I felt strongly that I needed to say that, even though I know that blue as a candle color isn't typically represented by intuition. It's usually purple. So that's freaking fascinating that we got this very mysterious card. So hold on, let's pull this last one from this set out and then we'll talk about it. So we also have trine flow, harmonize, aids, enriches, benefits, energies, enjoys, eases, lubricates, gifts, rhymes, supports, and indulges. So You are being so ridiculously supported right now. Many of you, I feel like, have even taken up a new spiritual path, or you're learning like new mysteries of the unknown. You're learning symbolism, numerology. Maybe you're even more into like the esoteric side of things, learning about like ancient alien type stuff. And this is not going to be everybody. Some of y'all's are not into that, and that's okay. But I feel like many of you are getting more into like esoteric knowledge, and Spirit says you are being very supported to branch into this. With Jupiter expansion, I kind of look at Jupiter like philosophy dad. Jupiter is definitely the planet of expansion, and it helps us to grow in new ways that are exciting, and they teach us things that are, I don't even want to say like valuable, because it is valuable, but it's not in the way that like Saturn would teach us a lesson through like perseverance and hard work. I feel like Jupiter doesn't really say work for it. It just says wish for it, if that makes sense. So I feel like many of you are kind of unlocking this really beautiful potential that you have, and unlocking definitely like secret mysteries of the unknown. Like I said, I mentioned a few things that some of you might be interested in, but you're being so supported in this. Many of you, I also feel like, are maybe changing careers or changing school majors, I'm hearing, and you are being so supported in this. Spirit wants you to go towards this, because when you are in alignment with your passion, no matter what it is, even if it makes you $0, it doesn't matter. That's why you're here. And Spirit wants to remind you of that, is you're not here to make X amount of money. You're not here to be the best, greatest at everything. You're here to follow that which lights a fire inside of you. Because when you do that, when you stand up in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. But it also shows other people that they can burn that brightly as well. And have you ever just met somebody that's like fully in the pursuit of their passion? How happy they are, how excited they are when they talk about it. I feel like that's what's really going on. And whatever is falling away from you right now, it's falling away so that you can have the time for this. So this is beautiful. I like want to cry happy tears. I'm such an emotional reader. Okay, so we also have number 16, conception. The frequency of conception invites us to bring our consciousness to our origin, the place where everything in creation begins. It helps us to remember the infinite potential and possibilities of this space and what we can manifest through our own focused awareness and intention. So this is you like putting the law of attraction to the test and being like, I hear a lot of stuff about this. Does it really work? Can it work? It seems to work for everybody else but me. And Spirit is saying, you need to study your own spirituality a little bit more. Study your unconscious. Keep a dream journal. Try looking at maybe things like, take the most stressful situation in your life right now and ask yourself if there is a lesson in this situation. I want to give you an example, and I'm debating currently if I should share, because it is so deeply personal. I'll say this. I have a relationship in my life and it's not like my husband or anything. It's like nobody I live with. I have a relationship in my life that has caused me so much grief over my entire course of existence. And it's a relationship that I think a lot about, and not always in a positive way, because I see a lot of negative attributes. I see where a lot of abuse takes place, and I see where this person even continues to abuse other people around me, not like physically, but mentally. And I've struggled and like gone to therapy for this, talked it over multiple times from every freaking angle. And I'm now starting to understand, and this is not going to be everybody's experience. I'm just telling you this from my own perspective, how I would perceive this. But what I'm coming to understand is this person that does these really crappy things and has really hurt me over a long extended period of time. What this person has done is, number one, they really are doing the best that they can with what they currently have. It's not my job to change them and make them into the version of the person that I need, or maybe past me needed. It's me realizing that this person was not born to be that way. They were made, and they probably struggled with just as much abuse, if not more. And no, that doesn't make it okay. It does mean that I have to have boundaries with this person. But what it really brings me back to this basically like strong level of awareness and understanding where things come from, and understanding that, like, yes, I can be angry, I can be bitter, I can be the victim in this situation, but it's going to serve me so much more when I come to understand where that person has come from and how I can, again, still have boundaries, still protect myself and forgive them, but not necessarily forgive them and mean that it's okay to continue to abuse me, because it's not, but forgive them for my own peace of mind. That's the lesson I'm starting to learn. And it had to kind of come back to the conception of that person and the journey that they have walked to get to where they are today, and to see how they deflect so much of their ego outward because they don't know better. And it's not my job to teach them better. That's for them to kind of unwrap and discover for themselves. Am I making sense? I don't know why that story came out like, so you need to share this, but here we are. But I feel like it's helped me to remember that things aren't always the way that we think that they are. I feel like anger and things like that, they can be very progressive. I'm not saying that anger is a bad thing. I think anger gets things going sometimes, but it's shown me that anger for me as a person is very surface level, and it's really more about the pain that is under the anger. And when we can kind of dive into that deeper and go even farther, that's when we can start to change things. And even for me now, though it is not my job to change that person in my life, it is my job to shine as brightly as I can, to do my best, to have the boundaries that I need to have to keep myself safe, but to also have a deep level of understanding and compassion and empathy. I hope that makes sense. Anyways, moving on, we have synergy. The frequency of synergy supports our allowance and acceptance of not so obvious, never seen before functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. A combination of unions that result in new ways of, functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. It reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that new yet exciting co-creations can give birth to a new reality. So this is such a beautiful card. It's like telling you that through your own expansion, through your own trust of yourself, through your own like digging through the archives of the mysteries of life, you are going to co-create and like conceive, birth something new into existence that maybe doesn't already exist. You are truly a master creator. And when you continue to study and learn and feel that support and transform into this version of you from this like reset point, you're going to bring out something so magical. Like, think about people that you potentially idolized. I definitely disagree with putting people on pedestals, and that's like a whole other thing to be worked on. But think about someone in the creative sphere that like you really idolize and you're like, man, I wish I was like that good at that. This is you becoming that. You becoming your own idol, you becoming the highest vibrational version of you that you can be. This is such a great reading. Okay, so we have two more cards. We have the Great Severing, Mars energy, anger, conflict, and softening to love. I literally was just talking about this. And then we also have You Got the Love, Hadarian energy, codependency, and boundaries. Ooh, I feel like that story that I told was actually really important to what we had to talk about today. Okay. Maybe many of you related to what I had to say about that, because maybe there's someone in your life that has done the same and has really made you feel like you have to put yourself into a box. But know that the crumbling, the changing, the understanding, the giving love and compassion to yourself, I feel like needs to come first before you can give it anywhere else. But I feel like for many of you, the great crumbling that is coming, this great severing, it has to happen so that you can see your life through a brand new lens. because sometimes we have like the right lenses on, but they're a little bit foggy or they're cracked, and we need new ones put on so we can see clearer. You know, I think about it kind of like when we're really little and we have that beautiful childlike wonder and everything is through rose-colored glasses. And even though that's a beautiful place to be, and definitely keep in touch with your inner child, it's so important. But there is a point where those rose-colored glasses become clear and you don't really see life through that exact same lens. And there are some ways where that can be hurtful, but there are some ways where that is so needed and so appropriate. So I feel like that's kind of what's happening, is you're getting like a fresh set of lenses so you can grow. And with You've Got the Love, Spirit really wants to caution you and just let you know that if things are difficult right now, especially in your interpersonal relationships with people or with someone in particular, Spirit really wants you to know that you are so divinely loved by your spirit team, but also you need to pour that love back into yourself, especially if you are maybe giving love and acceptance to others, but you're not receiving it. You need to start pouring that love and acceptance into yourself. Because if we're not filling our own cup, especially emotionally, if we're not filling our own cup, but we're pouring to everybody else, especially if there is an unconscious or underlying expectation of we're going to get that love back, know that that's not how it works. Everything in this world is very much a paradox. Everything that you want that is outside of you, you have to give it to yourself first in order for the outside to reflect it. And that comes with anything, with love, with happiness, with contentment, with even when it comes to like physically attracting items into your life. You have to act like it's already there, because then the universe doesn't know the difference and is like, oh, that should be there. And I can give you so many examples of in my life how this is true. It's like when I finally let go of like the need and the want for physical items, they have started to pour into my life at a ridiculous rate. It was the yearning and the wanting that made it take longer. So I really feel like for many of you, if you are going through it right now, please know that this is such a massive up level, and ultimately you're going to come out of this such a stronger person. And I know that sounds so cliche and so like, oh, I'm going to come out of it stronger, but like, no, really though. Like when you come out of this period of life, you are going to have such a better understanding of the world, of yourself, of your spirituality. Anywhere that you feel unhealed and disconnected, that is what is being channeled in right now to be, I don't want to say fixed, because I don't believe that we are broken. But you're being like purged out is like the word that I'm getting, is like there's like a purge internally that's happening. And so your outside world is reflecting it too. But when the purge is over, the healing can actually enter. And I think this is actually going to be like, I'm excited for you. I know it's like, girl, this sounds like a disaster, but no, I'm genuinely excited. Like this reading gave me such high vibe energy. So I really feel that for many of you, this is going to be so good. You're going to be uncovering like hidden talents for yourself and really just doing the most in the best way. So please do not forget to claim your blessing. Many of you ask me what that means. It just means that you just claim it internally. Just say, this is mine. This is mine to have. And just claim it. Claim it internally with yourself now. And just know that it is. And it is what is coming for you, whatever you set that intention for. And that is all I have for you today. Please do not forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I am at Kloee Taylor. I also recently started up my TikTok. At the point that this video is being recorded, there is nothing on my TikTok yet, but it is something that I want to start doing like weekly, if not daily, little mini pick a cards for you, or offering like spiritual advice, stuff like that. So definitely make sure you follow me on TikTok. It's a little baby account right now because nobody really knows about it, but it's also at Kloee Taylor on TikTok. And if you feel called to do so, it is never an expectation, but always appreciated. I do have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal listed down below. I do accept tips for my readings. Again, never an expectation, but it is so appreciated. I have poured so much back into my channel. I think every deck that is present today was all purchased because of you, except for this one was a gift. But yeah, so thank you so much. I'm able to do what I do because of you. So thank you. Thank you. And, is that everything? I feel like, oh, also the decks. If you want to purchase any of the decks, all the links in the order that they appear down below for you. And please do not forget, when you stand up in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Mwah. I love you so much, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye. Hi friends, and welcome to your pick a card. If you chose pile number 2, this is going to be your reading. You chose the orange candle. So on my channel, the first thing we always like to do is set intention. Now I know this candle looks red on camera, at least in my view it does, but I think it's because I have the saturation boosted ever so slightly on my settings. I promise you it is an orange candle. I wonder if I put it next to like... See, well, actually those colors kind of look, well, no, I can tell the difference. But it is orange. My shirt is red. But anywho, if you chose this pile, you would have chose the orange candle. Orange candles represent ambition. They also correspond to the astrological sign of Leo, but I feel like more than anything, this is the ambition pile because we also have this action card, which we'll talk about in a moment. But you do not have to set intention for anything action-oriented or ambition or goals or Leos. You can set intention for anything that you desire. This is just your, I guess it's like weekly, but we do it a couple times a week, opportunity to set some intentions for your life. So this could be something big, something small, a feeling, a person, a place, a thing, whatever you want to bring into your life right now. And go ahead and just think of something you want to manifest. And it could be as simple as a cup of coffee or something as grandiose as like a new career or a certain amount of money or whatever it is, or something that corresponds to the orange candle. So go ahead and place your hands over your heart. And basically the reason that we do this is because as humans, the highest vibrational frequency that we can attune ourselves to and our own energetic field is to the frequency of love. So when we make this connection, what that does is it actually speeds up our manifestations and it just makes them stronger. So go ahead and we are going to take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, thinking about that intention together. Oh, I felt that one all the way in my sacral chakra. That was a good time. So, which is funny because orange also corresponds to the sacral chakra. But let's go ahead and light this baby up. And what this is going to do is actually send your intention out into the universe so that it can come back to you. Ooh, did you see that? I don't know if you saw that from that angle or not, but the candle flame got really small and then it like popped up when it hit the wax. That was very cool. The flame, I would say, is pretty strong. It's not necessary. Oh, she growing. Maybe she's growing. I would say this is, it's definitely above average and it is climbing as I'm speaking. So to me, y'all got a lot of high energy. I mean, it makes sense if you chose this pile because we have the action card, but I feel like this is a very representational of your manifestation coming in very quickly for you. And usually I say that is within like a 2-week period when it's faster, sometimes a matter of days and up to about 2 weeks. So that's not going to be for everyone, but for many of you that I feel like have that really high, intense, action-oriented energy, that's what we're looking at. And even if you don't, it doesn't mean that it's going to take longer than that. But again, generalized readings. But I feel like collectively we have a pretty strong intention. So I love that. Now I'm going to go ahead and place this kind of off to the side so we can still see it in the reading, but it's not like super in the way of the cards. But basically, sometimes the flame will interact with the reading and I will talk about it if it does. Sometimes things will happen in that regard, or with like the wax. If anything happens, of course, we'll talk about it. Or sometimes you might see things in the flame too that I don't. So use your intuition there. Now for you, pile number 2, we have, actually, you know what, before we get into that, let's talk about this card a little bit. So this card is the first quarter moon. And basically this is a time where you would be wanting to take action steps on your goals. That's why it is the action card. If you know anything about how the moon works or moon magic, things like that, this is the time period of your manifestation where you would be taking rapid action, or I shouldn't say rapid. It doesn't have to be fast, but taking some action on what you're trying to bring in. And with that, you just might be feeling really amped up. I know for myself right now, I'm going through my first house transit right now, which is the house of Aries. And I feel like I'm ready to like box. Like I actually have an exercise bike being delivered today because I was like, I need an outlet. It's very cold where I live. I can't just go outside and run around. It's too cold for my bones. But I feel like inside I can get a really good workout. So this might even be your call to action to work out a little bit more. If you're feeling really restless, that might be a good thing you would want to consider doing. Like even yoga flow would be a good thing, but just taking some action on your goals at this time, and maybe even just coming up with a plan, because I firmly believe a goal without a plan is just a wish. And I'm not saying don't wish. I'm a witch. We do all kinds of wishing. But if you can actually set aside action steps for how you're going to achieve something, it is way more likely to happen if, number one, you're writing it down. We are like 42% more likely, I think, to achieve our goals if we write them down. But if you come up with a plan and stick with it, you are even more likely. So take some action on your goals. Now we're just going to go ahead and put this card off to the side because it is part of the reading. It is part of the theme for the reading, but it is not front and center. So we do have the Three of Swords. We have the Lovers. We have the Queen of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. This is the relationship pile for sure. What is going on? Who broke your heart? Pile number 2. Who has hurt you? It doesn't have to be a lover. This could also just be a family member. But I feel like you have just recently had your heart stabbed, because the Three of Swords is that. The Three of Swords is pain. And it usually has to do with romantic relationships, but not always. It can just be... It can be like the death of an idea, maybe something that you have kind of started to form together just like isn't working out. A relationship isn't working out. Something is not correct. So with this Three of Swords, I am getting this like heartbreak is coming out. And with the Lovers being directly linked right next to it, this to me is a strong indication that this was a romantic connection. But again, it doesn't have to be. This could also be yourself and your shadow self and coming to understand yourself deeper. And it's like a painful process. We also have the Queen of Swords, which I feel like this is either you, pile number 2, or this is the other person if there is a person involved. One of you maybe has said some really hurtful things, or you've had to like reconstruct the way that you do boundaries with others. And I feel like that's the lesson in whatever is going on for you right now. Pile number 2 is, if you feel like something stings and hurts, you're being told to be more direct, maybe even be a little more cutting. Like, this is not the time. I'm not saying don't have empathy, because I do believe and run my life by empathy is for everyone. Like, that is a concept that I teach. It is something that I really wholeheartedly believe in. But you can have empathy and also be a bad bitch and say, this is what I will tolerate and this is what I will not. And the Queen of Swords energy is coming through as a very strong, either someone needs to be cut off because they are not for you right now, or maybe ever. Or you just like, I'm really hearing like they need to be cut off. I think this actually potentially is a breakup for some of you. And I don't normally make claims like that are really big, because I feel like with so many people watching, like, it doesn't mean that every relationship is going to end up in a breakup. But the strong message, if you're somebody that you always feel like my messages are like spot on for you, your energy probably comes through really strongly. So if something's going on in your relationship, this might be like y'all might be breaking up. I'm just going to be honest with you. That's really what I'm feeling. And ultimately, it's because you have more respect for yourself. And that's what you're coming to understand is this person has disrespected you on every level possible. And you're starting to like open your eyes to that and see like, oh my gosh, this person has disrespected me, not just for the like, maybe the last few weeks, but this has been an ongoing trend. And I feel like this is extremely painful. And this is not a decision that's going to be made lightly. But with the Wheel of Fortune, this coming out in this kind of reading is really like mind blowing to me because the Wheel of Fortune to me is so unpredictable. It is very chaotic energy. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's just like a windfall of money. Like there's really positive things that are tied to the Wheel of Fortune. But to me, with this reading, this is very karmic. And some of you maybe were in a karmic relationship and that is what is going on. Like past karma is being released. And this is not somebody that is like your true soulmate on this earth. This is somebody that is a karmic tie that they were here to teach you to have better standards and better boundaries for yourself. Woo! I just got the chills. I think some of y'all really needed that to hear that. And again, I'm sorry, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing. But the Wheel of Fortune is very like chaotic energy. Sometimes it feels very unsettling. And I want to say the Wheel of Fortune has ties to Uranus. Don't quote me on that. If I'm wrong, I will edit that. Like if I'm incorrect, I will put like a little card in here. But I want to say that the Wheel of Fortune has ties to Uranus. And if that is the case, Uranus right now, if you're watching this when it goes live, Uranus is in the sign of Taurus. And I would not say that that is a very comfortable alignment because Taurus likes to be grounded. It doesn't like the unpredictability of Uranus. And so your foundation, Taurus, this strong grounded foundation is being like ripped up at the seams. So, ooh, and I got the chills again. So that might have just been a message, period, if that is not correct with Uranus, but that's just like a little astro update for you too. But to me, this is just a very chaotic energy. And it's almost like, I feel like the action is here because you're being forced to take actions that maybe you didn't want to, but it needs to happen for progression to happen, for you to move on to a better place in your life where you are able to be stronger in yourself. I'm getting like, I wonder if like strength is about to pop out of here. Okay, so we have Leo the lover. Oh my God, what did I just say? I was like, this is definitely relationship. We have 6th house craft, work, details, health, well-being, diet, service, daily rituals, contributions, organization, purification skills, apprenticeships, and method. So I feel like for you, many of you, this is going to totally disrupt the daily flow that you have had going, and you are being asked to reestablish new routines that serve you better. Because Leo with the lover coming out, actually, let me read this. Expressive, creative, loving, playful, warm, overt, self-confident, flirtatious, glowing, bedazzled, extroverted, vital, guileless, egotistical, juicy, proud, trusting, and excessive. So some of you might just be dealing with a Leo as well. The other person or you could be a Leo. I'm getting like, even with the candle is like a strong Leo representation. So I'm getting like very Leo energy coming in here. But with the 6th house, I feel like this is a disruption of your daily routine with this person, or if it's not a person and it's just like an idea and you're just hurting because the plans that you had are not working, you need to dive in and do a little more internal work so that you can kind of come out of it stronger. But you're being asked to reestablish your health goals, reestablish how you take care of yourself and putting yourself first and making routines that actually honor that. Some of you, it's also just going to be about getting in touch with your creative side. Leo is also a deeply creative energy. Something else I'm feeling called to talk about is that Leo also represents children. This, like, Leo rules over the house of children. And so many of you, the reason this hurts so much is you saw this person as somebody you would build longevity with. You would build a family or a home with. And you're coming to terms that 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 just might not be what's going to happen. Or you thought this was going to be like the career that you found yourself in, or the creative endeavor that was going to bring you all of your dreams. And you're being told that this is just not the one. It's something else, or it needs to be reestablished. Then we also have outlook, the ascendant, worldview, mission statement, expression, effect, role, mark, attitude, outer self, point of view, body image, aura, likeness, approach, impact, and first impressions. So you're going through a glow up of the self. The ascendant sign is the self. When we talk about astrology and people say what their rising sign is or their ascendant, it's the same thing. When you talk about your rising or your ascendant, this is your biggest expression of self. This is who you are in the world and how you show yourself and present yourself to others. And I feel like you as a person, you have changed for the better over the course of several years, maybe. And because of that, this relationship that maybe, and if it's a newer relationship, just know that this is not it. And if it's a longer term relationship, it's like you have done so much of a level up on you in showing the world who you are, but your partner hasn't followed suit. And so there's a lot of imbalance coming out of it, and your needs have changed. You have changed and your needs have changed, and you need to honor them. Now we also have integration, number 30. The frequency of integration supports our embrace of every aspect of ourselves, allowing what we perceive as positive and what we perceive as negative to harmonize in a balanced symphony of life. So with integration, I feel like you're being asked to also integrate these parts of yourself that feel pain and actually sit there with them. Don't numb out with Netflix. Don't numb out with food. Don't numb out with exercise if that's even what you feel like doing. You know, you're being called to really integrate every aspect of yourself. That's what this is doing, is you're coming home to yourself even more, even when it's hard and difficult and you don't feel like you have the full support or you feel like things are falling apart. You're being called to integrate both halves of yourself, because we are all whole and complete individuals, to be honest. But sometimes we feel divided when we want to be a certain way for ourselves, but we feel like we have to be another way for someone else. And you're being pushed to integrate all the parts of self. We also have number 26, empowerment. The frequency of empowerment supports our ability to show up fully and completely, uniting us with others in the deep trust that we all are connected through the same source. So again, this is about you really standing up in your own power, in your own authenticity, and ultimately it's going to lead you to a more fulfilling life because you're being more of yourself than you have been in the past, and you're honoring it. And that is what has brought this about. And don't dim yourself to shrink back and not be your fullest expression of self. You're here to be your fullest expression of self. Now we also have portal, doors are opening, you decide, rewards, wild card. So this relationship that you're feeling hurt by right now, or this creative endeavor, Spirit wants you to know you still have options. You still have choices, and you're allowed to stay in this relationship. You're allowed to stay in the pursuit of this creative endeavor, but you need to understand that if it doesn't allow you to be wholly yourself, then yes, you can still make that choice, but it may not be the choice that is most in highest alignment with you. And you being at your highest vibrational frequency is the most important thing that the planet needs right now. The more you can be in your own alignment, shining your brightest, that's all you came here to do, was to be your most authentic self and shine as brightly as possible. Because when we are all in pursuit of our own passion, it makes the world a better place. Trust me. But this is a wild card telling you you have options. Doors are going to open. If you close some doors, more of them are going to open. If you decide to go down these same hallways, these same pathways, you may not be opening new doors. There'll be different doors, but don't be afraid of the unknown. Don't be afraid of the wild card either. And we also have the cosmic heart, devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. So this is really being called to gravitate towards a spiritual routine, I feel like. Even if you are religious or you are not religious or you're just spiritual, whatever that means for you, it's being called to be more devoted to that practice. There are periods in my own life where back in like 2018, early 2018, I think, I was going through my spiritual awakening, which happened over the course of like a 3-year period. I think I'm still going through it to some degree, but I'm definitely a lot more stronger than I was back then. I used to every morning wake up, get my coffee, get my tea, get some water, do a little meditation, read my own tarot cards. I wasn't reading professionally yet. Even though I knew how to, I wasn't reading like online or for clients yet at this time. I would read for myself. I would do a little bit of stretching, and I would go outside and let the sun hit my skin for like 15 to 20 minutes a day and just give gratitude. Just like kind of pray, I guess. I don't say pray because I think people get the wrong impression. Like I was talking to God, which that's not really my thing. I do believe in Christ consciousness. I do have beliefs that align with that to a degree. If you want to know more about that, let me know in a video. It's kind of scary to put all of your beliefs just like out there because people then think they are allowed to scrutinize what you think. But, with this was like my daily spiritual practice. And I would also do a lot of like shielding with a selenite wand. I don't do all of these things every day anymore. And I definitely notice the difference in my life when I'm doing more of these things than when I'm not. But I feel like that's what you're being called to do. And your routine doesn't have to look like that. I was just giving you some ideas. You're being called to like really dive into self. I would also look into future self journaling. The holistic psychologist does this, and it's like a free journal prompt that you can do every day for, I think it's like 30 days. And it's supposed to help you transform your inner world a little bit more so your outer life can reflect. I've never done it for a full 30 days, but I've done it here and there, and it's honestly really good for undoing limiting subconscious beliefs and building personal power. So just think about some of those things maybe, or if you have your own spiritual practices that you want to get into, you're really being called to rely more heavily on that right now because things I feel like are very chaotic for you. But ultimately you're coming back to self. So beautiful time, honestly, scary, probably a little bit painful, but I do think that at the end of whatever this chapter is that you're going through, you are going to be in such a better place and you're going to be so grateful of all the decisions you made, no matter what they end up being. So I love you all so much. Please do not forget, when you stand up in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and I just opened up my TikTok. It's also at Kloee Taylor. I, at this point, have not posted anything, but I will be. I'm planning to do like pick a cards and spiritual information. So definitely follow me. If you feel called to and it resonated, never ever feel like it is a requirement. I do not expect this from you. I would not be here if it was an expectation. But if you feel called to do so, I do have links for my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal. I do accept tips for my readings. Every deck except for this one was purchased because of all of you. So thank you so much to those of you that have. I pour everything back into what we do on the channel, and I really do appreciate it. Again, not an expectation. And I think that's everything. I think so. I love you all so much. Have a wonderful week. I will talk to you again soon. Bye. Hello, my beautiful pile number 3s, and welcome to your urgent message from spirits. So before we dive into the reading, I always like to start with an intention candle. And if you chose this pile, you chose the black candle. And black candles to me are universal for protection. They are about protecting yourself, protecting loved ones, banning, I guess, or warding off psychic attack, reversing hexes sometimes if that's something you're worried about. Black candles to me are just pretty universal for anything protection related. Now, you can set any intention that you would like to with this black candle. It is not limited to that. This is just a time for you now to take a moment out for yourself and ask yourself what you feel like your life really needs. I also got the message randomly that some of you are struggling with sleep and insomnia. So maybe set intention for that to get a little bit better or for a solution for it. I don't know why when I picked this candle, like out of the cup that I keep my candles in, that was a message that was told to me. So those of you that struggle with that, that might be a good intention to set, but go ahead and set any kind of intention you would like to, and just pick something you want to bring into your life, a person, a place, a thing, a feeling that you want to have. And you just want to take your hands and put them over your heart center, just over your heart, your left and right hands. And we're just going to take one big deep belly breath in through the nose and out through the mouth together on this intention. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and light this for us. And what that's going to do is your intention is going to go out into the universe so that it can come back to you. Ooh, that flame did what pile number 2's flame did. It like got really, really small and then it like popped up, which was very cool. I hope the camera catches that okay. But basically, this flame is relatively large. We haven't had any small flames today. This, I would say, is an above average sized flame. And what that really says to me is that your intention or your manifestation is going to come in relatively quickly. I will say this, the flame is not staying extremely high or extremely strong. It's kind of dimming down a little bit. So it might be more like 3 to 4 weeks for this intention to come in. Those of you that are manifesting protection though, I do feel that I don't often see strong black candle flames, even for myself. I feel like it's just a different kind of energy. Now, maybe that's not the case for everyone. Maybe that's just me and my energy around this candle, but I would say that's pretty typical for black candles. Something else to note, I'm seeing like in the flame, I don't do this all the time, but sometimes I will if I feel called to like divine the flame. I'm seeing like an image of Hades or like god of the underworld. And I feel like what this is telling you is to not be afraid to go into your subconscious a little bit more, go into the shadow aspect of yourself, the winter of yourself. Don't be afraid to dive into those things, into the feelings. I don't know who that message was for, but that's what came out. So I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to put this flame right up here for us so we can still see it during the reading in case anything should happen. I like to read that if anything should come up. So we will put that there. And first and foremost, the card on top that you chose is the release card. And I really like this card because it is the full moon. It is the culmination of things. And basically when you reach this stage of the full moon, if you chart the moon or do any kind of intention setting with the moon, which I highly encourage, doing that has truly transformed my life. But with releasing with the full moon, it's basically letting go of expectation, letting things be what they will be. And to me, the full moon is also the grand culmination. So this is also a time where you would reap any benefits that you set out for. I think it's interesting that this full moon card, I mean, all the cards I think did have them, but this one for some reason is also sticking out to me. There's like a full enclosed wreath around the moon, and that to me is very symbolic of the world card in tarot. I don't know why this one in particular, probably because the full moon is like the completion. But I feel like for many of you, you've kind of ended a very serious chapter in your life, and now you need to kind of release outcomes and maybe even let yourself just sit with the feeling before you can go into being reborn. Because that's kind of the cycle that we do in chapters in our lives, is we go through the whole entire major arcana in tarot. We start out as the Fool at 0, we become reborn, and then we go all the way out into the world, which is the final. So love that. We're going to go ahead and just put this off to the side of our reading. And let's go ahead and see what other cards we have. Oh my God, I cannot make this shit up if I tried. I swear to you, I don't look at these cards. I do not look at them at all. I shuffle them out and like set them aside face down. We got the World. What did I just say? We have the Queen of Wands. We have the Knight of Cups. We have the Ace of Cups. I feel like many of you, if you did not listen to pile number 2, you might want to go back, especially if you're in the middle of a relationship crisis, because I feel like pile number 2, if that like is resonating with you at all, what I just said, pile number 2 was kind of about what is going on right now. If you have a relationship that is crumbling, this I feel like is what is to come after that. I feel like these two readings are very linked, so just pay attention to that. If, like I said, if that is something you're currently dealing with, maybe watch pile number 2 first and then come back and watch 3. But with the World card, that is like the grand culmination. You've learned all the lessons that you're meant to learn in a phase of your life, and now it's time to just kind of sit and celebrate all of that before you are reborn into something new. The Queen of Wands is a very confident card. I love this Queen of Wands in particular because I feel like the cat is, there's always a cat in like traditional Queen of Wands, but I really like the cat artistry in this one. I feel like many of you that ever see this card in this deck, one of your spirit animals might be a cat. The Queen of Wands also is like having like full confidence in your power, confidence in your own creativity and in who you are. The Knight of Cups is potentially a new romantic interest, or you like honestly just believing in yourself enough to move forward. And then with the Ace of Cups, I feel like this is also new budding romance. So like I said, if you're having relationship problems, this might be one, like they technically could go in order, which is really weird. I don't know that I've ever had that happen in a reading, but I feel like this is like the aftermath. But if that doesn't sound like you at all, then don't even worry about it. This is just the pile for you. But with Knight of Cups and Ace of Cups, to me, this is a strong indication of a new fulfilling relationship coming in. It doesn't have to be romantic. It could just be like a partner of destiny, somebody that you are meant to link up with that's going to help you fill up your own cup as well as you filling theirs. And the things that you do together are going to be really good for the world, is really what I'm hearing. Is like, I feel like this is you, Queen of Wands energy, and this is them, Knight of Cups energy, and this is what you'll have together. So very much speaking on partnerships, I feel like. I also feel like many of you, if you've been struggling, know that peace is coming, because we also have this really large bird that is present with the Ace of Cups. And that to me always speaks about like victory as well as having peace in all situations. The Knight of Cups also, I feel like you're being asked to kind of dream right now. Dream about what you want your life to look like, especially if you've just come to the close of a chapter. You're in a really potent time right now. This is almost like, if we look at the houses of astrology, the first house is like Queen of Wands energy, and the 12th house would be to me almost like the world energy. And I don't necessarily believe that those two things are linked. This is just an example, but it's like the world says, this is the end. This is the closing of a chapter. Queen of Wands says, rise up into my power and be who I am. And so I feel like with the close of a chapter, celebrate everything that that chapter gave to you in life, but know that this is a new leaf. Know that this is a new way of being. Let the old fall away so the new can be born. We also have first house, the self. Love to see it. Sagittarius, the voyager. Ooh, look at that candle. Holy crap. You probably can't see it as well as I can, but that candle is going crazy, and my air is not turned on right now. Oh my gosh. Are you seeing this? I think you can kind of see it in there. Sorry, first house, Sagittarius, and we also got quincunx. Let me go ahead and actually read these. I didn't do that. I'm moving too quickly. I was too excited about the candle flame. So first house is physical body outlook, self-image, life philosophy, consciousness, options, awakening, self-awareness, arrival, expression, gateway, and entry point. So literally, in your life right now, you're being given an opportunity to enter a new door, a new portal, a new chapter. Like in this imagery, there are two doors open and there's like a corridor between them, and you are in that corridor, but you have the option to walk back into the old door, revisit some old shit, or you have the opportunity to go forward and open a brand new door. It's like you're in that like middle space. Now we also have Sagittarius, which says enthusiastic, philosophical, independent, generous, ethical, seeking, happy-go-lucky, adventurous, honest, bareback, unbridled, experiential, lucky, boundless, traveling, risk-taking, tactless, and self-righteous. So with Sagittarius, I love Sagittarius energy. We stan a Sagittarius on this channel. I am married to a Sagittarius in tropical. He's also a rising in sidereal though, so it's still kind of there. But we stand Sagittarius energy in this chat, okay? But Sagittarius to me is like this optimistic, positive, happy-go-lucky, traveling, and like wanting to learn more about expansion, because Jupiter rules the sign of Sagittarius, which is all about expansion and optimism. So I feel like that's kind of the door that you're being asked to travel through, is like through your own self-development, through understanding different culture, learning new skills. You're going to build this new life for yourself with confidence. And with Quincunx, this says irritates, puzzles, mystifies, complicates, contradicts, clashes, misses the mark, requires translation, adjusts, makes curious, educates, and transforms. So I feel like through this, especially with educates, like you are basically learning some really deep lessons right now at the end. Like I feel like you've actually already learned them. They're just settling in now. Like everything that was going to happen at this point has already happened. You're in this state of releasing what has happened and taking the lessons from what has happened. I'm wondering if something really serious has happened for you, pile number 3, because I feel like right now you're being given like a start over, like a do-over, not a do-over, but you're being given like a new start in your life. And the Quincunx says to me, I'm hearing from spirit that you're complicating it. It doesn't have to be as hard as you're making it out to be. Your own mind is complicating it and making it harder than it needs to be. You're trying to fit puzzle pieces together that don't go together. And ultimately, when you just kind of zoom back, like that big Sagittarius energy, kind of zoom all the way out and look at things from an above perspective, you're going to gain the clarity that you're looking for. We also have number 37, realization. The frequency of realization supports the internal process of becoming aware of our heart-centered truth, as well as the external process of becoming our highest expression in this world. Ooh, I got the chills for you, pile number 3. Holy crap. So I feel like today, all of the readings have been a lot about personal journeys and reaching the highest level of expression, but this one really, like, you are already in the midst of it. You are already in the process. There is no, oh, excuse me. There's nothing in between you right now and where you need to go. You just need to kind of zoom out and ask yourself what lessons you need to carry with you into the next part of your journey. This candle is flickering again. We also have the sacral chakra number 2. The frequency of the sacral chakra, the orange flower of life, supports our ability to flow with our desires and stimulates our creative power to manifest success and abundance in our lives. So I feel like this is the journey you're about to go on. We also have 2 cards that are like very, very orange in nature, which orange, this is why I said I feel like pile number 2 is linked. Orange corresponds to the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is where creation is born. It is the chakra that rules our sexual organs. It rules our creativity. It also, I feel like in a lot of ways, I don't want to say it corresponds to the divine feminine, because I think that there's like a lot to be explored there, but because it is also where our sex organs are and like where like we birth new creativity out, I do feel like it can be a very like feminine chakra. I also feel with this, you're being told to create. If you're struggling right now to know what door to open, what path to take, and you are doing the releasing, understanding the lessons, but you don't know what to do next, you're being told just to create from your heart. And that is what is going to take you forward. If it feels stressful or it doesn't mean that you're not made for it. If it's stressful, sometimes in the beginning things can just be stressful, but I do also feel that if it's a very heightened level of stress, it can be an indication that that's not the right path. It should feel easy. You should want to do it. It should bring you joy. So just create from your heart space, from your sacral chakra as well. Now we also have Star Family. Ooh, I love these cards. You're part of a team of souls. Call in support. So I feel like many of you that chose pile number 3, you're either someone that is already really in close contact with your spirit team and your guides, or you're somebody that really wants that. I do have a whole video on my channel where I talked a little bit about my experience with my spirit guides, but I do want to in the future do a more, I don't want to say advanced because I don't think it's like hard stuff, but I do want to do a video explaining a little bit more about how to like trust them and be in contact with them more, because ultimately it's more about trusting and being in contact with yourself so that you can reach that. But you're being asked to call in support from your spirit team, from your galactic family even. When we talk about star family, this is a lot about our galactic families as well. Many of us on the planet right now are star seeds that are here to spread the mission of unity consciousness, of even Christ consciousness to some degree. That is a video topic for another time, Christ consciousness. Many of us are here to spread that mission and raise the vibration of the collective. And so we have incarnated here where we've done past lives on other planets as with other galactic families. So if that resonates with you, definitely look into like more on star seeds. And we also have Earth School, life lessons, soul growth, study, and higher learning. So some of you might be going into new programs for school. Some of you might just be learning more about spirituality. I want to say we covered this in pile number 2 a little bit as well. I'm telling you, they're linked. I'm sorry I keep mentioning it. I know some people don't like that, but when they're linked, okay? I can't help it. But with Earth School, it's like, to me, this is like lessons learned, and now I need to know what to do with all of this information. I feel like you're not really at the point where you're having to learn the hard lessons. You've already learned. You're ready to kind of rise like the phoenix from the ashes and take this into a higher level of learning, whether it is in the physical world, like going to a higher form of education, college, master's program, doctorate program, things like that, or it's higher education or higher learning in the spiritual realm. Maybe you want to study like the Akashic records, star seeds, where we come from, things like that on the more spiritual end. I feel like there's something in this card for everyone, but you're being asked to kind of study and go deeper right now. And to like, that's where you're going to find more of your family here on Earth, your star family here on Earth, because I'm telling you, there's a partner of destiny, and this could be a romantic partner for some of you, but I also feel like it doesn't have to be. But I hope this reading is helpful. Thank you so much for tuning in, pile number 3. Again, if any of it resonated, definitely go back and listen to pile number 2. I feel like these two had a lot in common with each other. But again, this was like the after. Like pile number 2 was all the hard stuff, and 3 is like the after. That's how I believe that they are linked. And don't forget to claim your blessings. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and now newly TikTok. I'm at Kloee Taylor. I haven't posted anything on TikTok, I think, when this video goes live, or like while I'm recording it. I haven't posted anything on TikTok, but I'm planning to, so definitely follow me over there. And if you feel called to do so and it resonates, never an expectation. I don't do this because of the expectation. There is never one, but I do have links for Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal. If you want to leave a tip for this reading, I would certainly appreciate it. But again, I do not expect that from you. So please do not forget to, when you stand up in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. I love you so, so much. And I will speak to you all again very soon. Bye.